Hello again, everyone. So we're going to change tack somewhat and bring one of our other partners in today. So one of the things that we often get asked about when we go to workplaces is car sharing. For many of our engaged workplaces, this could make a massive difference to the number of cars reaching their sites. Um, for various reasons, public transport isn't really an option for many of the staff, and active travel can be quite tricky if you're in a rural location. But it can be a real struggle to make car sharing work for a whole host of reasons um, that we find people really struggle with. So we are really, really excited about this next speaker, and I'm super excited about this next speaker, and talking about a Solent-wide car sharing platform that we are going to be opening to all of our engaged workplaces. So I am now going to welcome to the stage Ben Ross from Liftango, who is going to tell you all about this exciting new My Journey car sharing platform.
Thank you, Andy. And yeah, good morning, everyone. So yeah, I'm here to talk today really about who we are as a company and some of the approaches that we have to car sharing. So I'll step through a bit about Liftango ourselves. We typically operate in three spheres. Here in the UK, we have a large public transport sector where we're working with bus operators, with local authorities, with government to digitize public transport solutions. On the right-hand side, we do a lot of work around EV enablement. A lot of the projects we are involved in public transport typically involve electric vehicles. So we work closely with operators in bringing those electric vehicles into a more digital transport ecosystem. But really the most interesting part for today is our corporate transport sector. And we work globally with a lot of large employers focused on how we can optimize their transport solutions and encourage staff and employees to share transportation. And that can happen in a variety of ways. But today we're here to talk about what we do with our carpool platform and some of the projects that we work on across the world and how that can apply to the Solent region. So yeah, we call this our net zero carpooling solution, but really it's designed to allow staff to match with one another in what we call an exclusive network, build a community, and then really drive incentivization to get people to use it. Deploying a carpool app is pretty simple. Getting people to download it, to engage with it, to continually use it is the challenge. And that's really where we spend a lot of our time as a business. And really where we focus is on areas of high population, high employee population. So typically could be manufacturing sites where there's 10, 20, 30,000 people traveling to every day, or citywide and region-wide projects where we have numerous companies engaged and we can build that critical mass of employees to make carpooling a success. So yeah, we work with cities like Vancouver, where they have a very, very similar solution to what we're proposing here in the Solent region, where numerous businesses sign up to it, creates that exclusive network between their businesses, and then staff can share rides across the business. So that gives that critical mass, 20, 30,000 users now on that platform. And there's always matches guaranteed and a hell of a lot of incentives driven across that. So that's really where we're coming from today. A bit about what we do. Really, as I've described, there's kind of two elements, and it sounds fairly simple, but it's often not. The initial launch, and we're going through that phase right now with the My Journey team, branding, designing, curating the platform, building the zones, engaging with employers and looking at how we can solve some of their challenges. But actually, the second part is really where we try to shine, and it's the ongoing marketing. It's ensuring that people are continually using the platform, engaging with staff, understanding what's good, what's bad, understanding what incentives we can drive into the platform, understanding how we can help them on their commute on a daily basis, so they're always bought in to car share. And really that's what we're here to try to do today, to try to drum up some engagement with businesses to say, how can we help you? How can we work with your HR team to give benefits to people who car share? How can we work with your facilities team to try to help with parking challenges that you may have? How can we talk to employees to understand what challenges they have getting from home to work every day? And how can we build some benefits into our platform for that? So 2 fairly simple elements, but a lot of work behind the scene that goes on for it. This initial launch is, as we're going through now, the platform design, the setup, the standard stuff that you would imagine. Business onboarding is something we'll probably start middle of June to the middle of July. So that's engaging with companies that are interested, looking at what challenges you have around parking, around loyalty, around recruitment, around retention, engaging with employees and looking at what challenges they have with the commute and building in some solutions into the platform. Curating that incentive plan and continually tweaking that incentive plan, understanding what's working, what's bringing riders to the platform, what's bringing drivers to the platform. How can we balance those 2 measures and understand the most efficient element of matching happens? And then launch. And I think the plan is launch at towards the end of August, start of September here, and kick on from there. So that's really what we're gearing up for at the moment. But launch doesn't mean that we just switch it on and disappear out the door. Launch means that there's a continually engaged plan with our team, looking at how we can get more and more people using that platform every day. How it works, pretty simple. We'll be creating a My Journey platform, My Journey app, which people can download. They can create and find matches in the shared communities that exist across the businesses, and ultimately they'll be rewarded for it. And there's a variety of rewards that we can give out via the platform, which we'll work more closely with businesses on to create tailored incentive plans for people. So business X may have a totally different incentive plan to business Y, depending on what works for your business, and we can offer that bespoke level of support for you. Staff will also get access to what we call the Commutify platform, and this allows them to actually discover different ways to get to and from work, which could be the most sustainable, which is the most cost effective, which is the quickest, and then log those trips on a day-by-day basis to get that commuting score, is what we call it. So staff will all have access to this, and as an employee, you'll have access to the back office, which allows you to see how employees commute on a day-to-day basis. And then we can use that data to drive tailored incentives. So if we see a pool of people in a certain region who are driving individually every day, how can we target that cluster of people and get them to car share? Could we do some immediate loyalty rewards for them? Could we extend the incentivization to get them signed up, to get them sharing, and to get them bought in to the platform? So that whole data analysis platform is key here for what we do, and understanding how people move, and then working with you as a business to try to get them to move more sustainably or more cost effectively, depending on what we're trying to achieve here. Next is ongoing marketing. This is something which often differentiates between some of the other companies we work with, which is where our marketing team will work with you constantly to improve uptake, to drive more usage through the platform, to always tweak those incentives. So to monitor which incentives are working well, which incentives are working poorly for you, and see which we can drive to get that maximum benefit. We always look at the settings and the parameters within the Carpool app. Are we getting too many riders versus drivers? And how can we balance those settings to make sure that uptake and matching is of optimal level? And then we give you that full individual environmental impact and use reporting. So how many cars have we removed off the road? What's the CO2 equivalent of that? And that's on a business by business basis. So you'll all have your own set of personalized reporting and analytics suite, and we'll work with you to design and curate that so you can feed it straight into any sustainability reporting you're doing at a wider scale. Reward and incentives is actually probably the most important thing for a carpool platform. And typically there are 2 elements to that. It's where there's high parking pressures. So how can we incentivize people to car share and get preferential parking? We have that through the platform. And free stuff usually works pretty well as well. So what incentives and what rewards can we drive into the platform, similar to what the Love to Ride team are doing, to give people gifts, vouchers, discounts, financial motivation to share trips? And that's really what we're working on here. So our shout to you, I think this is the next slide. We're a bit on parking here, but we'll skip this. Really what we need from you as a business right now is to understand what challenges you have with employee commuting in general. Is it shift pattern challenges? Is it parking infrastructure challenges? Is it we want to recruit and retain staff better, and we need to offer a solution that sits around that? We want to talk to businesses in the local area, and we've engaged with a number of them already, looking at how we can design a bespoke package for your business to encourage people to car share, encourage them to commute more sustainably, and then reward them for that. So this is my pitch to everyone here today. Please engage with us, speak to us. We'll create bespoke plans for you. We have a wealth of experience working with the majority of the largest carpool platforms across the world. So we can come with some ideas as well as to what works well and what doesn't work well, and engage with you to see how it can be driven to effect. So that's really my sales pitch today for everyone. And that's it. So yeah, it's a short, sharp and sweet one, but really the next part for us is to engage with staff and to work with you. So yeah, that's really where we go from there. Thank you.
It's probably worth pointing out at this point to everyone here that this platform is only going to be open to workplaces that are engaging with My Journey. So if you are interested in engaging with us, you are going to need to get in touch with us, and we will need your workplace email domain name so that your staff can sign up through that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben.
That is correct.
Yeah. So if this is something you are interested in, and we really hope you are interested, you will need to get in touch with us. And once you have signed up with us or sent us that, we can then pass that on to Ben and his team, and then your staff will all be eligible to join that, and that will be covered by this platform. Is there any cost to the workplaces or to staff for taking part in this?
No. We're working with the My Journey team, so yeah, it's free to staff, free to workplaces to join up, for and to sign up, for and to drive. So yeah.
Super. And one of the questions that I've been asked by a couple of people is, are staff, can they share only with people from their own workplace, or is it across the whole area, or do they get to choose?
Yeah, so they can share with staff from any workplace which is signed up, as long as there's a sensible geographical match to them. But every person can choose and agree to that match. So as part of the platform, you'll be recommended matches automatically, and then it's up to you to decide and accept or reject matches based on a variety of elements. So yeah, there's that open matching which exists, but only for companies who are signed up, but still user level acceptance is there.
Excellent. Another question that I often get asked is around ensuring safety, because you are obviously entering a space with someone else and with low levels of supervision. What tools do you have in place to ensure people's safety when they are carpooling and lift sharing?
Yeah, sure. So, firstly, every person sets up a profile, and so because it's a private network, it means that only members of staff and not just general public are matching and sharing with people. So you have a level of safety there. People, again, get the option to accept or decline a match based on their own preference. And then during the ride as well, there's a variety of safety settings in there. We get a full feedback loop. We get the real-time matching. We get the ability to track via the app, and there's a whole communications channel in there as well. And then a whole reporting suite. There's a lot of data processing that occurs afterwards as well to interrogate that app. And then you get to leave feedback as well at the end of it. So that's private feedback. It's not really shared with the individual like an Uber score, but that's available to the companies to utilize if they need to.
Brilliant. We've had a question from the floor now as well. What do you think is the best incentivization to encourage people to take up car sharing?
Yeah, I think incentivization varies radically business by business, which is why we typically work on a more bespoke business by business level for these. So, we work with with Tesla globally. And we're getting hundreds of thousands of shared rides every year for them. What works for them really well is actually preferential car parking, because their sites have very low levels of parking spaces, and uptake is now 99% on that platform. So from a Tesla's point of view, car parking is the best incentive. Share, get a better car parking space. Flip side of that, we work with Amazon globally as well. And for them, it's all around employee benefits. So, people, free lunches, free food, an element to get paid for the commute. So it really depends business by business and the type of employee that's working there, which is really why we say there's no one size fits all incentive plan. Engage with us. We'll understand the challenges that you have, and we'll try to offer some options for a more curated type of incentive plan, whether it's, cash based, or whether it's parking based, or whether it's loyalty based. Yeah.
Cool. And another question that has come up from a number of places is around kind of minimum critical mass at a particular workplace. And I'm aware I'm asking you to throw numbers at a wall. How many people do you need engaging with the platform to feel at a kind of common location? Do you need for it to get that critical mass to kind of run of its own accord?
Typically, if it's a single site, and again, it can depend on a variety of factors, but if it's a single site with a fairly set shift 9 to 5 pattern, 500 is typically the lowest level you'd go for. If it's a varied shift pattern, you're probably pushing up towards the 1,000 level to get a good critical match, which is really why we try to do these type of region-wide carpools. You have a lot more of a critical mass available to you. A lot of the businesses are often based right next to each other, or on the same business park, or in the same vicinity. So you build a much higher critical mass. But yeah, if it's a pure single site, probably 500 with a set shift pattern. If it's multi-shift pattern, you're probably talking 1,000 in all honesty to get, good elements of matching. And those are typically the projects we're involved with. Anything up to, some of our sites have 100,000 people.
Brilliant. What would your call to action be for people in the briefing today? What do you want them to go and do next?
Yeah, I think really what we're interested in is understanding, the typical challenges that a business have around getting people to share rides. Is it challenges in the parking infrastructure that you have as well? So conversations with the facilities manager. Is it, trying to retain and attract new staff? So conversations with the HR team. Look at what challenges you have and look at how we can build them in as an incentivization plan to the platform for you. So yeah, understand the challenges around the commute, and come to us with those challenges, and we can look at what we've done in the past and offer some ideas as how we can look to solve it through this platform. Yeah.
Brilliant. This is your final call if you have questions for Ben at this point, because he will be leaving. Preferred parking spaces someone has asked about. This is always the one that attracts people's attention, isn't it?
Yeah. So how it works in essence is an employer will either dedicate a number of car parking spaces to car share people. So it could be, 25 spaces right at the front of the building are dedicated to people who car share. And if you car share, you get access to those spaces, and the platform will point you towards A27 or car park 2 if you're car sharing. And that's often how some of our projects are set up. So yeah, car share, you get access to preferential spaces, and the employer will dedicate a number of spaces to that. That's the easiest way to explain how it works. Yeah.
And do I remember you saying that there were some workplaces where they've gone to a level of detail on that, where you get better spaces the more people who are in the car?
Yeah. So yeah, that's that other question from Lindsay. Yeah, the spaces are dynamic and static. It again varies site by site. Some just say we're just going to give a flat number of X spaces every day. Some will say we'll give the number of people who are sharing that day, obviously varies, so we can allocate it based on a more dynamic level. And you can even go to the level where, the more people you actually share with, or the more times you've shared, the better space you get constantly. So yeah, if you've shared every day for a month, you might get a better space than someone who's only shared for the first time. So there's a whole level of elements around parking that some companies go to. We even have one company in Germany who they have like the super user car park right at the front, and they have actually 3 dedicated car parks for car share team members, and it's all based on the number of points you have as to which car park you get allocated to, and people kind of like gamify and upgrade their car park over time based on how many shares and matches they've had. Yeah.
Brilliant. I think you're done. I think you're off the hook.
Thank you.